Guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am just going to be deep conditioning my hair, and we are talking all about porosity. So if you want to hear all about porosity, just keep watching. Alright, so hair porosity is simply how porous your hair is, meaning pretty much how damaged or not damaged is your hair. Your hair porosity is determined by how many gaps are in your hair shaft, and these gaps determine how easily moisture and products are able to absorb into your hair. Okay, you guys, so there are three porosities. The first porosity is low porosity, then you have a medium/normal porosity, and then you have high porosity. We are going to talk all about the three different porosities, and also what are good ways to help moisturize your hair within each porosity. So low porosity is when there aren't many gaps in your hair shaft. In return, this makes your hair more resistant to moisture and product. But once the moisture is in, it won't be easy getting it out. So the hard thing with low porosity is getting the moisture in. And once it is in, it stays in. The recommended way to moisturize low porosity hair is by using either the l.o.c. method or the l.c.o. method. L stands for liquid, O stands for oil, and C stands for cream. Whichever, works for your hair, you have to, try it out and see what works for your hair. Also, like the water that you spray onto your hair should be warm or, lukewarm water, so that the temperature of the water allows the cuticles to be raised so that the moisture can get into your hair. So if you're using cold water, then that kind of shocks your hair closed. So that's not good, when you have low porosity hair. It kind of stops your hair from, getting the moisture that it needs. All right, so the second porosity is medium or normal porosity, which just means you have enough gaps on your hair shaft to absorb and retain moisture pretty well. So with normal or medium porosity, you are right there in the middle. You have a good bit of each. You can absorb moisture easier than low porosity and retain better than high porosity. So the third and final porosity that we are going to go over is high porosity. And having high porosity hair just means you have numerous gaps in your hair shaft. Your hair can easily absorb moisture and products, but you have a hard time retaining moisture. So, like the other two, you can probably just do your hair once a week or once every 2 weeks. With high porosity, you have to nourish your hair more often, like 2 or 3 times a week. So I feel like high porosity, you have to do more to keep your hair moisturized and to help yourself retain length. And it's kind of harder, to not have dry hair with high porosity hair. Another way to, help with moisturizing high porosity hair is by using the l.o.c. or the l.c.o. method, which I already told you guys about in the low porosity category. The great thing about the l.o.c. or the l.c.o. method for high porosity is the oil, because oils are sealants, and that is what seals in your moisture. So you basically just have to figure out which order you need to put your products on that work best for your hair. I have been a high porosity natural, so I know, what it takes, and that is why I have a oil in my hair regimen. I don't use it all the time, but I do have an oil in my hair regimen because my hair has been high porosity. I don't feel like my hair is low porosity, so I can just, put that one over to the side. So right now, I really feel like my hair is in between medium and high. Is not normal and is not high because, when you put water on your hair, ways to figure out, if you have high or low porosity. So say like you get in the shower and you have water going on your hair. Does it take a little minute for your hair to feel like it's wet? And if that is the case, then you may be low porosity. If when you get in the shower and you put your hair under the water and your hair is immediately wet, feels wet, then you may have high porosity. So there are certain ways to figure out if you have low, medium, or high porosity. Now that leads to my next point. There are two popular porosity tests that you can try. The first one is the float test, and the second one is the strand test. So let's go over each test. All right, so the float test is simple. You get a glass of water, and then you get a piece of your hair, that you may be in your brush from when you just done your hair, and you have a cup of water, and then you place your strand in that cup of water. If your strand floats to the top, you're low porosity because that means that none of the moisture is getting absorbed. If it sinks, then you have high porosity because that means that a lot of water is getting absorbed. If the hair is half and half, then you have medium to normal porosity. So I have, done a little bit of research. Some people say that the testing doesn't work, that it's a lot of factors that go into it. But this was the first test that I did to determine, what porosity my hair was. But I had kind of figured that my hair was high porosity because I had colored hair. And, anything like that, coloring, bleach, especially when you first do it, you tend to be, you tend to have some porous hair, from just, damage to your hair. So this is how you do the float test. And the second test is the strand test. And basically what you're doing is feeling your hair. And based off how your strand feels is whether you have low, medium, or high porosity. If your hair feels smooth, you have low porosity because there aren't any gaps in the hair shaft. If it's kind of bumpy, then you have medium porosity. And if it feels really bumpy, then you have high porosity because of all the gaps. So this is how you do the strand test. Okay, upon doing my research, it does look like there is another way that you can determine porosity. And it's basically to squeeze or blot excess moisture from your hair so that it is not dripping, but leave it as wet as possible. If it feels rough or has a straw-like texture, your hair is not very porous. If your hair simply feels wet, you have normal hair porosity. If your hair has high porosity, it will feel sticky, almost as if you had not washed all the product out of your hair. So this is a third way to figure out your porosity. And I feel like porosity, knowing what your porosity is way important than hair typing. Because just because I may say I'm, 3C, 4A, but me and we have the same 3C, 4A, but you're high porosity and I'm low porosity, then we would not, do the same techniques, or we would do different things just based on our hair. Like my hair belongs to me and your hair belongs to you. We are two different people. So our hair is not going to react the same way. So, when I'm showing different products, I'm showing you guys what works for me. And maybe you can go out and try, because ultimately that is the only way that you're going to figure out what works for your hair is by trying out different products. And I know we all can't just go out and buy products. I totally understand that. I get it. And I mean, they have, like, Walmart has some pretty low priced products. Sally's have some good, pretty low priced products. So I say go out and try. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And until next time, curly girls, I'll holler at you later. Bye.